The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Pool Guy Show. Today I'm going to be joined by Charles Baird from National Pool Route Sales to talk about his experience when he was in Houston for 2 weeks to help with the cleanup there after Hurricane Harvey had hit and pretty much wiped out whole neighborhoods. So he's going to spend some time talking about what he was doing down there with All Hands, which is a charity organization that he was working with while he was down there in Houston. And he's also going to talk about some tips for the pool service professional if you get hit by a hurricane or a major storm, and what you should do as far as charging your customers. I also want to point out a resource for those of you that are in the disaster areas of Houston or Florida, that there's a company here locally in California. They're called Advantage Manufacturing. You can find them on the website at www.advantageman.com. You can also reach them by phone at 800-636-8866. And the reason why I bring up this particular company is that they make a portable filtration system that would be ideal for the situation in Houston. They also make gas-powered units, so if you don't have power in a certain area and you need to pump something out, you can also get their gas-powered unit. And their portable filtration systems, I've used them on my pool route. I filmed a couple videos on them. They have a variety of different ones also. So you can check out their website to get some idea of a portable filtration system to help with the cleanup over there in those areas that were hardest hit. And I've already had people contact me regarding getting a system from Advantage, and I just forwarded the information on to Josh over there at Advantage. So that's a great resource if you need to get a portable pump or some kind of cleanup device to pump out these pools that have been hit by these hurricanes and floods and that are just destroyed. And you know that the regular filtration system just can't handle that kind of a cleanup. This podcast is brought to you by Riptide Pool Vacuum Systems. You can find out more about the Riptide Pool Vacuum System at riptidevac.com. This is also a great cleanup tool for an area that's been hard hit. This particular vacuum will pick up large leaf debris very rapidly from the bottom of the pool. And so you may want to also look into getting a Riptide vacuum system to help you with the cleanup of the pools that were hit by the hurricane and floods. And this podcast is also brought to you by InyoPools.com. Inyo Pools has been helping pool owners find the right pool parts since 2001 with over 50,000 pool parts in stock. Order online today and have your parts delivered right to your door. And I had Charles Baird on an earlier podcast where we talked about his business, National Pool Route Sales, where he's the founder of the company. This company is set up to help you purchase a pool route, also help you sell an existing pool route, and he also has a consulting firm for pool service professionals. So let me jump right in and let's talk to Charles right now. Hey Charles, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. How's everything over there?
Doing well, thanks. Just recuperating. It's taken me a couple of days to kind of get back to normal.
Yeah, tell me about your trip to Houston.
Oh man, well I flew in right when they opened the airport, so you could get in. Mm-hmm. And I had hooked up with All Hands Volunteers. Got there and went to the church in Sugarland. Slept on the floor there probably for the first week. It was, I don't know, stone, whatever it was. It was hard in a sleeping bag, and finally got a cot, and then finally moved over to another church and got a bunk bed with a blow-up mattress. So that was cool. And we just started work right away, and man, it's just, no matter what you see on TV, you can't imagine what it's like. I mean, it's just horrible. So yeah. We gutted houses with dead fish in them, gutted houses with sewage and still water in them where you're slipping around on the floor trying to gut it, trying to get everything out. I mean, it's just kind of horrible. People are they're devastated.
I read the article that you had written about it, and you mentioned that a lot of people there didn't have any kind of insurance.
Yeah, one of the reasons I went down was when I heard 80% of the people, 8 out of 10, didn't have insurance. I wanted to help. So because most of them can't afford to gut their house, pay for the gutting, and then rebuild. I don't know if you've ever seen a house gutted, but it's taken down to the studs. I mean, And some of them, there are no, there's no drywall on the walls, the ceiling, there are no cabinets, no appliances, there's, no bathroom, no kitchen, that's all gone. It's just studs. So, the outside's there, but it's just studs.
So how did you get involved with the All Hands Volunteers? 'Cause I'm on their website right now. It's www.hands.org.
Yeah, I was looking for a place to join. I didn't want to go down there by myself and just fumble around. So I looked online to find someone I could join, some organization I could join and go down and help. I found two. I found All Hands, and I found Samaritan's Purse.
So, how long were you down there?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Man, let me tell you something. You're up at 6, you're on the job, most of the time by 7:30. You work till, I don't know, back to the base by most of the time 5:30. You have dinner at 6, meetings until 8, and then you're just so exhausted that all you can do is just go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Now, after you left there, how did it look after you left? Was it still pretty devastated?
Well, that's the amazing thing. One of the reasons why I left is because, first of all, my granddaughter just got a kidney. So while I was there, so I wanted to get home for that. But the other reason is it's just amazing how resilient Texans are. They're back, they're up and running. Now, mostly, I think we're ready to start mold remediation, sanitation, and then after that, drywall, and put their house back together.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It is. But you have to. All Hands wasn't the only organizations down there. There were a lot of church organizations that sit down, 25 people, 50 people, whatever it was. And one weekend, you couldn't even get through a neighborhood. Cars were stacked up 5 wide on each side with one lane going one way through the neighborhood because there were so many people there going door to door helping. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And the people that got the help were absolutely amazing. They were thankful, they were generous, they were loving. There were a lot of tears, some there, some mine. I don't know, some of the hardest thing, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. The work was hard and it was dirty. I'm serious. It was really dirty. Some of the guys that came down said, we didn't know it was going to be like this. And I figured it was. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you how thankful those people were, and it made every moment with them precious. It really did.
That's great. It's great. I guess secondary, did you see any pools during your time down there? How bad was everything?
Oh, no, the pools are trash.
Yeah.
That's good for the pool guy, bad for the homeowner, because they're going to have to be cleaned up, and that's going to be. But it's situations like this, hurricanes. I was down when Andrew came through Homestead, and it was brutal. There were places where there was nothing standing, just a field of clothing. It looked like people were raising clothing. And pool builders and pool servicemen and all those guys they made tons of money rebuilding those pools and cleaning the pools up. That's a benefit to the economy, I guess, and people in business. It's a detriment to the people that own them, but I don't know, they have to be cleaned up.
Yeah, I just had someone email me today from Houston wanting to know if there was any kind of portable filter system that he can order, because all the pools there, he said, in his area are black and green and just full of debris. So I can imagine that whole area was probably just totally wiped out.
Oh, it was. It was. I would say most of the neighborhoods, there were a lot of them that weren't touched, but most of the neighborhoods, a lot of the businesses. But to answer your question, yes, there is a There is a gentleman that sells a machine out of Lake Havasu, and I can get you the contact information if you like. And what he does is you can buy his equipment, and what it does is it recycles the water that's already in the pool. It just cleans it right out.
Yeah, is that like the reverse osmosis machine?
I'm pretty sure it is reverse osmosis. I'm just not sure the extent of it, because it makes the water potable. So, I mean, you can drink the water.
Yeah. So that's something that definitely they need in Houston for sure to get this stuff cleaned up. Yeah,
it's amazing what those pools like. I mean, some of them are growing lily pads, and it's pretty much it's a mess. It really is.
I know with the last hurricane that hit Florida, the Irma, there's a couple pool guys that are in my group, and they didn't have it in their service agreement anything about storm cleanup. And so he's working from 7 in the morning till 8 at night cleaning these pools up. And I think, for a business standpoint, talk down on any kind of disaster, but I think as a business, you have to have something in writing with the customer saying, hey, if this happens, an act of God, I'm not going to clean up your pool for free.
Well, here's what I think, and this is what I've always taught my guys, is that you have a responsibility to keep the pool clean. But if there's something like this, if a big storm comes through and blows lawn chairs and all kinds of debris in the pool and you've got to clean it up, there has to be a cleanup charge. And if anyone doesn't want to pay for a cleanup, then really, I wouldn't want them as a client anymore. I really wouldn't, because no matter who they call, who's going to come and take care of their pool without charging them for cleanup?
Yeah, and I think some of the guys may feel bad, like, one of his comments was he feels like he's gouging people that are hurting already because their houses are destroyed, and of course their pool's destroyed along with that, and he feels bad charging them an extra, $100 to spend more time there. What do you say to that?
Well, I will agree with them on people that can't afford it, and you know who that is on your route, and I believe you should always give back. But $100 for cleanup is really ridiculous. I mean, I'm thinking $500, $600, $700, $800 for cleanup. So if you're charging somebody $100 to clean up the pool, depending on how bad the pool is. You're not overcharging them by any means whatsoever. But you know what? Just like I gave my time to go down there, and honestly, I'll send you some pictures after we hang up, if you send me your email address. I went down there in mold-infested sewage. I mean, oh goodness! I mean, there were homes where you were slipping around trying to gut the home on sewage, and it was just horrible. But I went down there and did that. And for guys who are cleaning up these pools, if they want to donate some of their time to help clean up the pools, God bless them. I have nothing wrong with that. But for those people who want to strictly run a business and don't feel like helping, there's nothing wrong with charging for pool cleanup after a storm or a hurricane.
I think you have to have your heart in the right place, I guess, to do it for free.
Yeah, and I think your heart should always be in the right place. But I think there's a time when you should do things for free, a time when you should do things for a discount, and there are times when you shouldn't do anything but what is business-wise. And I think you just have to be the judge of when that is.
What was the thing that you got out of the 2 weeks that you volunteered down there?
Well, beyond exhaustion, I can tell you, it's such a wonderful feeling helping those people and getting the emails from them. Just seeing smiles on their face, the tears in their eyes for us helping them. It's just a wonderful experience, and it's just if I would go back right this minute, I'm seriously considering going to either San Juan, Puerto Rico, or maybe the Virgin Islands. I don't know how much Florida needs my help, but I would love to go back. I mean, look, I'll tell you what, it's dangerous. I mean, from the bacteria, from the mold. I mean, you have to do things the right way. One of our people got a bug in the ear, and had to go to the emergency to get the bug out. So it's not a vacation. It's really hard, dirty work, but it's really rewarding. If you want to give some time, give them that way. You know what I would suggest for some of these guys who have employees? If you can afford it, send one of your employees down to help on paid leave. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to give back. I could never do it because I didn't have the time. I have the time now to do it, and that's why I did it.
Well, I think it's really great that you're giving your time, Charles. You're a busy person. You have your pool broker business. You have your consulting business. And for you to give up 2 weeks of that to go down there and help, I really admire that.
Well, I don't know how you can not do it. Like I say, when people, 8 out of 10, don't have insurance, and it's going to be very, very difficult for them to rebuild. When you would go in the house and they were there, and some of them are living in mold-infested homes. I mean, it's just mold. Honest to goodness, you can walk into a home and the mold is just oozing out of the walls. It's all over everything, all over the furniture. It's in the air, the spores. It's just amazing. And some people, especially the elderly, are living in that. So, we just tried to clean it out for them so they would have a place that's a little safer. Mm-hmm. And I think anybody that goes down there and does that, all the people I worked with were absolutely wonderful, hardworking people. And it wasn't their first time. They had been to Peru in a disaster. They had been in Nepal in a disaster. They were in Louisiana in this disaster from last year. They were in eastern Tennessee in the Knoxville area for the fire. Some of them they're always there to help. God bless them, is all I have to say.
Amazing people to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for taking the time to share your experience down there in Houston, and definitely, looking forward to you going to Puerto Rico and helping out over there, because they're getting hit by a Category 5, I think, at this moment today. So. Yeah,
when you see the destruction firsthand, it's depressing. It's very difficult. It's very emotional, and it's very physical work.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for your time, Charles.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do this again with other subjects for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. And I really appreciate people like Charles that not only give their money when there's a disaster, but also give their time and volunteer. And it's great that Charles can go down there for 2 weeks and has helped those that are in the greatest need at that time. And if you're interested in the charity that he volunteered with, All Hands, you can find them at www.hands.org. And also you can visit Charles's business, National Pool Route Sales, at poolroutesales.com. And that's pool and then route and sales.com. And you can find out more information if you're interested in buying a pool route, getting into this business, or learning more about Charles and his consulting business. So all of you listening from the Houston or Florida areas that were affected by the hurricanes, know that my prayers are with you, and I hope that you make a quick recovery and that there's resources available for you to help with the cleanup. If you have any questions or need any help with getting any kind of equipment for your pool cleanup, feel free to contact me on my website or on my YouTube channel, and I'll be glad to pass your information on so that you can get the help you need with the cleanup that you need. So thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Have a great week, and God bless.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.